In my moments of doubt, when I feel that my prayers are small and insignificant, you remind me of the power that my prayers hold. You, the creator of the universe, invite me into conversation with you. And that fills me with awe. God, in this powerful moment with you, I'm reminded of an incredible story about a missionary whose life was saved by the power of prayer. As he shared his profound experience with his home church, he shared that while serving as a missionary at a small hospital in Africa, he had to travel by bicycle through the jungle to a nearby city for supplies every 2 weeks. This was a journey of 2 days, and it required camping overnight at a halfway point. On one of these journeys, he arrived in the city where he planned to collect money from a bank and then purchase the medicine and supplies before beginning his 2-day journey back to the field hospital. Upon arrival at the city, he observed 2 men fighting, one of whom had been seriously injured. He treated this man for injuries, and while he was there, he talked to the young man about God. Their conversation finished, he completed his mission, travelling for 2 days, camping overnight and arriving home without incident. 2 weeks later, he repeated his journey, and upon arriving in the city, he was approached by the young man he had treated. The young man told him about how he'd known that this missionary carries money and medicines, and with a guilty heart, he shared how he and some friends had followed the missionary into the jungle 2 weeks earlier, knowing that he would camp overnight. They'd planned to kill him, take his money and his drugs. Then he shared, as they were about to move into the missionary's camp, they saw that his tent was surrounded by 26 guards. At this, the missionary laughed out loud and said he was certainly all alone in that jungle campsite. But the young man pressed the point and said, "No, sir, I was not the only person to see the guards. My 5 friends also saw them, and we all counted them. It was because of those guards that we were too afraid to approach your tent, so we left you alone." At this point in the sermon, one of the men listening to the story in the congregation jumped to his feet and interrupted the missionary to ask if he could tell him the exact date that this had happened. The missionary told the congregation the date, and the man who interrupted him told him this story. "On the night of your incident in Africa, it was morning here and I was playing golf. I was about to take my shot when I felt the immediate urge to pray for you. In fact, the urging of God was so strong, I called other men in this church to meet up with me and pray for you. Would all of the men who met with me on that day please stand up?" The missionary wasn't concerned with who they were, because he was too busy counting how many men he saw. There were 26. "God, after hearing this story, I'm reminded that you have sent heaven's army to protect me and that I am surrounded by your love and protection at all times, especially when I am struggling and especially when I can't see that you are there. I trust you. God, help me to remember that my prayers are seeds of faith planted in the soil of your love. From now on, God, when I wonder if my prayers are making a difference, I will think of Elijah, who prayed fervently for rain, and you answered by sending a small cloud that grew into a mighty storm. His prayers were powerful and effective, just as mine can be when offered with faith and trust in your goodness. I trust that as I continue to pray, you will continue to work in ways that are far beyond my understanding. In your glorious name I pray. Amen. Take a few minutes now to lift one of your prayers up to God. Talk to Him as if you are talking to your best friend, and whatever you share with Him will be heard. So share it with Him now. Let's begin. this prayer bring you comfort today, and to all whom you choose to share it with. Stay blessed.